Every person should be engaged in culture to the extent that they're inclined or wish to do it. We're dangerously without culture. That means we're not thinking. Culture is the sum of all those different points of view throughout time that have seen the world differently than we do. And it's a very, very direct experience with very primary emotions. Even more primary than language. And it's, anyway, and we're dangerously without it. We've got something called popular culture. Now then, you see, we get the art we deserve. And if the public engage as art lovers, as judges of art, then hopefully we will have something happening today. But there's no progress in art, so they must go back and look at everything and discriminate, because discrimination is the root of intelligence, judging between one thing and another. People aren't thinking, they're just sucking up the received opinion, all the academic view, which is very passive. You're not active. For example, when you look at a painting, you are active. You get off the consumer treadmill. You change your life. It gives you an incredible anchor in life. And if we have a lot of rubbish and consumerist rubbish, junk, then it is the fault of the public as well. Now then, I don't know that I just said this, but art should not be popular. It depends on a few people. But during the 20th century, artists and intellectuals, they abdicated their responsibility. Their responsibility is to the truth of things. The artist is not responsible to me, even though I wish to see the world through the eyes of the artist. I want to know his vision, but he has no responsibility to me. His responsibility is to his vision. He must exteriorize himself according to his vision, see the world as it is. That's what I want from him. And in fact, what happened is everybody just wanted to be popular. You know, oh, democracy. Everybody can be an artist. There are no values. The only values are in the wonderful democracy, the salt of the earth. You know, and so art, the value of it was transferred from the thing itself, from the object, to the subjective point of the person who appreciates it. And so art can be anything. It just depends on whether he likes it or she likes it. And we don't have anything. We threw away the baby with the bathwater. Mm-hmm. We don't have ideas. And we're very, very dangerously short of ideas, because if we're not thinking and we have conformity of opinion, this is certainly the mark of a civilization in decline. And the human race has never faced what we face at the moment, which is the danger from climate change. And if you become an art lover, it's connected to climate change. You can fight it because it makes you so strong. In understanding the world, you have a sense of personal progress. You are responsible for our world. Talent is extremely rare. It is not this thing that people think that it belongs to anybody who wants to do something. And so that's the first thing. But without the context, like I said, we threw away the baby with the bathwater. You get ideas by developing ideas that already exist. As I said, even God, I don't think ever was known to make anything from nothing. He had to have chaos and things happening. And when he made Eve, he had to make her out of Adam's rib and some blood. And magic is always done from something. It's like telling the scientist to throw away his laboratory. So we have a false ethic at the moment, and you won't get creativity unless young people are taught to understand that the value is in what they do, and that you have to work very hard to understand things and to communicate things.
And to look to the past, to older inventions and things like that?
Well, that's where the ideas are. You know, 400 years ago, people had a completely different ethic than the one we've got. I think it's important to know that. You know, it doesn't seem as if we're doing very much right at all. We're heading for disaster. I mean, what we expect at the moment is for some kid to come into a business, you know, and switch something on. Oh, this is fantastic. What a wonderful advertising campaign. Turn all your fortunes around. Or somebody creative with money or systems or whatever. But we're not looking at the world. We're just looking at a small fraction of time at the very, very end of the chance of growth, which we don't have anymore, and asking people to do something. I do believe that people don't have ideas because they've thrown away the source of the ideas, the tradition that we depend on. Well, no, I don't know. Wait, I think what's at the back of your question anyway as well is different periods in history. You know, certain countries thrived because they were buzzing with ideas. And this is true, that certain things sometimes come together. For example, I think one of the Medici had a school, a drawing school or an art school or something. When some of the Medici creativity was being pinched by another town or something, and it helped. You know, everything started to buzz again. So I expect it. You know, we should value creativity, and we should value ideas, but I don't believe there's even any progress in ideas. I think the ideas are all there, and you know, it's a question of what can make our lives better, really. But can it make us richer? And well, maybe it can, but I don't want that.
Are you comfortable with the idea that creativity could mean richness?
Well, I have to ask you what you mean by richness, material wealth,
Yes.
because that is what we've been caring about. And yes, you need a certain amount of it, but and it can't be equal for everybody. It never was. And I think it's absolutely dreadful that somehow material wealth is to do with quantity, you know, and it's all about always getting this something new, this something different. My advice as a fashion designer has been to people, stop buying clothes for at least 6 months. And when you do, you might choose well. Choose well, buy less, and make it last. I already told you I've had this dress for about 16 years and it's still a favourite dress. If you buy less and choose well, it's a very different matter than just buying clothes to put in the washing machine and have more things. I mean, I was on the bus from a few weeks ago, in the summer actually. It was the autumn, it was still hot. And I was looking out of the window on my way home from the centre of town to just where I live, south of the river. And on the way, I looked at the crowds of people, and what they reminded me of was they all had like easy care fabrics, you know, like tights and T-shirts and sweaters, sweatshirt things. And they looked like babies who'd just all been tumbled out of a giant washing machine. There wasn't one silhouette or anything you would want to look at. Now, that was bad, and it might have been because it was a Saturday afternoon, and on a Monday morning, people going to the office might have looked a bit better, I hope. But I don't know. It's just an idea of playing with clothes as well. For example, I wear a towel sometimes instead of a coat. I was at my friend's house. I was going down this nightclub and I took the towel. It looked great on top of my party dress. And he said, "Oh, no, I'll give you this cashmere shawl." I said, No, this is much more chic. I prefer the towel. It was great when somebody spilled some wine over me.